You're listening to Fifi Peters on SAFM.
Getting into some sweeter news now. Slightly sweeter news, just given the fact that some relief has been given to the cane growers industry, particularly small cane growers here who have had a tough time since Tongaat Hulett and Kagera Sugar mills were placed into business rescue. The business rescue placement ultimately meant that these two sugar mills were unable to fulfill financial obligations totaling around 1.5 billion rand, and this hit the industry hard. But the South African Sugar Association has now extended a total 176 million rand to help alleviate some of the short-term funding challenges experienced by cane growers. We do have Dr. Thomas Funke, the CEO at the South African Canegrowers Association, for more. Sir, thanks so much for your time. Just how meaningful will this lifeline be for your industry at this stage?
Yes, hi, good evening. Extremely welcome news, and especially for our small-scale farmers. They've been part of the burden that has been placed on everyone has also been placed on them, and they've been part of that group together with the other millers and the other farmers, the commercial farmers, to make good on this default that you mentioned by the millers that have been in business rescue. So it's very welcome news, and will hopefully assist them to recover some of those losses faced towards the end of last season, which was March 2023.
And I see that, the payment will be made in tranches, and the first part of it was expected to be paid by the end of the month, the end of last month. Are you aware whether that 60 million rand has been received?
It has indeed, and how the industry works is payments are always 1 month in arrears. So the July payment would have been for sugarcane delivered to the end of June. The payments are staggered just to ensure that everyone receives funding, because small-scale growers often don't deliver their crop throughout the year. They deliver in tranches, and what we don't want to do as an industry is exclude anyone from these payments. So in this way, everyone has the ability to receive some of this relief.
The business rescue case of Tongaat in particular has been ongoing for some time. Just recently we heard news that there was a company that had announced its intention to buy into Tongaat, to sort of perhaps drawing a line below that process, hopefully restoring some relief. But I'd just like to understand from you that in this time, in this extended period that the business rescue practitioners have been trying to find a plan for Tongaat, what kind of impact has it had on cane growers?
It's been extremely testing and disrupting, to say the least. A lot of uncertainty for the 12,000 odd farmers that delivered to Tongaat Hulett. At the time, 28th of October, when business rescue was announced by the former board, the sugar mills closed down, and they closed down because the farmers didn't deliver sugarcane. It was an extremely unsettling time, and that really just again showed the vulnerability of the sector and the dependence on the entire value chain to function. A big company like Tongaat Hulett, closing or shutting the mills had a massive ripple effect, not just on the farmers, but on the farm workers, as well as their dependents. So, yeah, it's been very disruptive, and especially this process leading up to the announcement, these about 6 months or so, have been very testing. I think many of the industry members have considered all of the options available. But as SA Canegrowers, we've made a big effort to work with all the role players involved, especially the business rescue practitioners, and to understand and be up to date with what their plans are and, how we can assist them. As we said last week or the week before when this was announced, we were extremely positive about the news. And hopefully we're going to get into a position now where we can move forward and, leave the past behind us and focus on a brighter future. So we're still very positive, but obviously we're awaiting the business rescue plan to be formally drafted and published and approved by the creditors, and only then will we know exactly what the plan is and what's contained in that plan.
Mm-hmm. There was an announcement made by one of the larger players, RCL, recently. I believe they make the Salati sugar brands, and they were talking about how, just as a result of what had happened to Tongaat as well as the other player, that it's Glenhow Sugar Mills, that some of the contributions that these two companies used to make towards the sugar tax, for instance, the rest of the industry had to essentially now foot the bill as a result of these two companies being in business rescue. Can you comment on that and the degree to which the cane growers in and of themselves were affected, if at all?
Yes, absolutely. So how the industry works is everyone contributes to the levies that need to be paid in order to let the industry function, and that includes all of the millers and all of the farmers, small-scale commercial. Your size doesn't matter. Everyone pays towards that. And when one player or two players, in this instance, both Tongaat Hulett and Glenhow, couldn't make payments, because of cash flow and other funding difficulties, that burden fell on everyone else producing sugarcane and producing sugar. And that's really what RCL, the statement that they made, is that everyone had to pro rata pick up their share of the additional levy. And as we said also, that was 1.5 billion rand spread across all the other participants in the industry, which is a massive amount. The price of the farmers were paid, because that's how the levies are collected, at the end of March, crashed with 8% because of this payment, and that put many growers in a very vulnerable situation. So we're just very thankful that we're moving forward, and that hopefully there's some reprieve with new owners coming in. And as we understand, that also new money coming in, they obviously, in order to win the bid, they are a reputable company with sufficient capital, hopefully. So we're positive. Hopefully one can move forward now.
Well, I think that we'll continue to follow how things do unfold. But Dr. Thomas, we'll leave it there. So thanks so much for your time, Dr. Thomas Funke, CEO at the SA Cane Growers Association.
Hello, Jeremy Maggs here. I've just finished recording the next Fix SA podcast. I'm in conversation